Super Senpai Podcast. Welcome to the Super Senpai Podcast. This is a weekly episodic tokusatsu-related podcast where we're talking about fights and tights. I'm the Comic Fiend, and this is my friend...
Grant, the thief. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, dude, I'm excited. I've been super excited about this.
Yeah, me too. I've really been looking forward to
it. The ever-changing name.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but really excited to be here. We're going to be talking about Lupin Ranger versus Pato Ranger a little bit later in the show, but I think it's probably best if we talk a little bit about kind of tokusatsu and who we are and our relationship with it and all that before we get started. Because obviously our goal is to do this weekly and to review one episode every single week. But it's probably important that you know the people who are reviewing the thing every week.
Yes. Yeah. I spoke first, so, you go first.
Put me under the gun like that. Okay, so I guess tokusatsu, if you don't know, just means special effects filming in Japanese. It can cover everything from just sort of exciting action-adventure television to your Daikaiju films like Godzilla and Gamera and Mothra and so on. And is most frequently used for things like Super Sentai or Power Rangers, as its Americanized version is, Kamen Rider and the Metal Heroes series and Garo and a variety of special. Oh, I'm sorry,
Masked Rider, right? Is that
it would be Masked Rider.
Masked Rider over here.
Yeah, Masked Rider. The thing we had was called Masked Rider. But any kind of special effects action adventure television that usually features brightly colored spandex heroes fighting, but it can also cover a wide range of things. But when we say tokusatsu, that's usually what we're referring to. And we're going to be watching a Super Sentai show, Lupin Ranger versus Pato Ranger. This is before we talk about that, I guess from my own background, I started, with American Toku, with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers when I was in early elementary school. I was 100% the prime demographic for that at the time. Stuck with it probably through early Zeo. I don't really remember exactly where I fell off. I know by the time Turbo had come out, I had gone through this sort of do I get back into Power Rangers? And I didn't like cars, so I was like, I'll stay away from it, I guess. But I remember seeing the original movie in theaters and things like that. And I knew, playground, I grew up not far away from a military base, so a lot of playground gossip and stuff involved some of this stuff is actually, comes from another place, and it comes from Japan, or it comes from, there was a lot of kind of rumors about that, or, there are Orange Rangers and things, and, in a pre-internet age, it was incredibly difficult to tell if people were lying to you or not. So I just never knew. But of course, as I got older, coming to realize that, oh, wait, this does come from somewhere else. And in college, I watched a few shows, just some random episodes here and there, but I never really had that much luck with torrenting things and all that. But fast forward to now, and just a couple years ago, I was scrolling through Hulu and just noticed that Ultraman, the original series, was just on there. I was like, what? And then beginning to dig in and find out that, wait a minute, actually, a lot of this stuff is available now, or is at least very, very easy to get. So, sort of binging in the past 2 or 3 years, really. It's only been about 2 years, I guess, since I've really realized I could access it again. And really haven't looked back ever since. In terms of, I guess, raw numbers of shows, I've seen 2 full Sentai series, Zyuranger and Dairanger. I've seen 2 full Kamen Rider shows, Double and O's, and I'm watching Forze right now. And I've seen...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Forze is good stuff. I'm really enjoying. Yes, Space Kita, Uchu Kita. And I've seen original Ultraman, Ultra 7, and I've seen X, Orb, and Geed. So I've got, I still haven't even watched double-digit Toku shows, even though I've watched a few hundred episodes of Spandex Heroes. But
no, that number is you're not going to get that unless you're watching some of the other stuff, I think.
Right. And in terms of American Toku, I saw a lot of Big Bad Beetleborgs and stuff as a kid, or VR Troopers and all that. And in terms of Power Rangers, I have since been rewatching, and I've done a chronological rewatch and gone all the way up through Ninja Storm. I just completed Ninja Storm recently, so I'm about halfway through Power Rangers as a franchise. So that's a fair amount. You know, I'm familiar with a lot of it, even if I haven't seen it. So I'm excited for this. I really am. How about yourself?
Oh yeah, that's right. So I was actually born in Japan, and I feel like, well, okay, now to be really specific about where it was, but I think I had seen some of it in the 90s, and I didn't really know what I had because I had a bunch of like the rubber vinyl toys. And when we came over to the States, I saw Power Rangers on TV, and I recognized it, but I wasn't really getting what I was looking at. And I didn't know why my toys, which was Die Ranger at the time, didn't match the Power Ranger stuff that I was seeing until maybe when the White Ranger showed up.
Right.
Like I had this weird disconnect about what the heck I was seeing, and I didn't really understand that it was something from Japan, and like it was a weird identity thing. I think a little bit. Like, I'm maybe a little bit too invested here, but for a long time I was drawn to the sort of the Power Ranger-y designs and aesthetic. So when things like Beautiful Joe were being made, and
love Beautiful Joe.
I mean, of course, all the Power Ranger stuff that you had mentioned. And I think at some point, I want to say like 2007, 2008, I really found out like what the heck Kamen Rider was. Like the Wikipedia articles barely had anything on them at the time. Like it was like, it's a thing from the 70s.
Right.
Okay. And then like groups started picking it up, and then it started picking up speed, like forums and different I guess different forums and VBullet and things were talking about it, and I finally was able to pick it up. I started with Kamen Rider Kabuto, and I just picked which other Heisei ones were going on at the time or had been subbed, and I just got pulled into it. And I to this day, shamefully to this day, I have not finished a Sentai series.
Oh no!
But that's what that's my shame. But
no shame in it, but
most,
I'm so sad because
just a little bit. But that's why we're here, right? Like, I'm sorry. What?
No, you're right. That's going to be part of the fun is finishing this, and this is a way to. I know for myself, yes. Like I have in my mind like a slot for my live action stuff, and I try to not overload myself too much. But this is an excuse to get to watch a little more Toku than I would normally allow myself.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Breaking the rules.
Yeah. Yeah, so most of my experience is in Kamen Rider. I've seen most of the Heisei stuff and the Neo Heisei stuff. For the record, my favorite is Drive. Double and Build are at the same tier right now. And
I really loved Double.
One of my favorite designs is Deno's sword form, but we can get into that later. But
we can get a little inside baseball later.
Yeah. To focus on Sentai, the most I've seen of is probably Die Ranger. I've seen bits of Mega Ranger, and I have dabbled in Tokyo-Jur, Shinkenger, and Gokaiger. Like that's kind of the ones I've really actually paid attention to. And I know they're really, really good ones that I haven't even touched. But I mean, I'm excited, man. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, that's a really interesting angle to come at it, sort of from that kind of confusion and like the Sentai first, and then Power Rangers and being the confusion. That's a really interesting approach, just kind of from a fan perspective.
Yeah, right.
Life is fun.
I like the solo dudes with attitudes, but teenagers with attitudes will probably do, right?
The dudes acting rude, the rude bugman.
Yeah.
So.
I just love special effects though, man. I love Toku stuff. I even if I've never finished anything outside of it or really had a lot of experience, if I see it's a rubber suit thing, I'm interested. Yeah. Like that's my aesthetic. Like
very much so. Yeah, I think right? the thing that I always argue for practical effects over CG is that CG or I should say that practical effects age like wine and CG ages like milk. Something that looks incredible in CG, give it a year, give it 3 years, give it 5 years, and it's gone. Especially if it's chasing realism. If it's chasing style, that's a little different. Style tends to age better than realism in my experience. But there's also just the fact that something has to move, like something has to physically be a thing and move around and interact. It it may constrain designs in some way, but it also makes it like it's real, it's palpable. Someone reached out and punched that rubber jellyfish chef in the face because there was a rubber jellyfish chef in front of them to punch. Like, and there's a weight, there's a literal weight to these things, and I think that is so interesting and wonderful, and there's such a great art to it all. I don't know. I can never get enough of it, and I think it holds its shelf life quite well. Yeah, and I think there's because we can get into some, I don't know, maybe bigger theory stuff anyway, but I think the way in which you have to tell stories because someone has to be in the suit, I think it alters your expectations for what can and can't be done, like just kind of from like a writing perspective and from a framing perspective, and I especially love all of the camera tricks and things like that, and the sort of techniques that are used to imply scale or distance, like all that stuff. I just eat it up.
Yeah, and I'm excited to. I kind of want to do. Well, we'll see if we'll do this, but I kind of want to talk about like how, maybe some of the repeat locations that we'll see. Like I feel like we're gonna see some like, hey, there's that warehouse.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that's more of a Kamen Rider thing.
No, Toei definitely loves to reuse the same rock quarries and bridges and things like that.
Yes. It's the dam.
Yeah.
It's the warehouse. It's the cement pipe yard.
It's an old friend.
Yeah, we can probably get into that, but I'm excited to see some of those in this context. I hope they show up.
Definitely. Now, in terms of show format, probably going forward from here, every episode we're going to just kind of talk a little bit, get loose, get excited. Then we'll probably do a recap of whatever we'd seen on the prior week, and then we will pause and watch the show and then give our thoughts and answer Twitter questions afterwards. This week is going to be a little different. We're going to talk a little bit what we know about the show, just kind of going in and our expectations or maybe our hopes. And probably we'll do a little bit of that every week anyway, just kind of like, hey, what are we hoping to see this week? What would we like to see more of, less of, that kind of thing. Play around with predictions maybe, if you will. And then we'll watch the show, we'll pause, so you guys, through the magic of radio, you won't experience us watching it in real time because that doesn't make for good podcasting. But then we'll come back and give our thoughts and answer some Twitter questions. So,
basically, from my understanding, and I'm trying to read as little about it as possible because I just wanted to take it in. Mm-hmm. But this is the first time we're opening with a versus teams, right? We have two opposite teams that are going up against each other.
Correct.
That are,
as far as I know, this is the first one that's like in the actual title. We've obviously seen like oppositional rangers before, whether they've been mind controlled or what have you. I mean, I just finished Ninja Storm, and in the original Sentai, Hurricaneger, I believe is how you pronounce it. Ninpu Sentai Hurricane, yeah. In that, it's close to a dynamic like this, because there's like a team of 3 and a team of 2 that eventually merge to the team of 5, but they're not, they're not built. Like, I think the idea here is that the show is billing it as 2 separate teams, and I think that's what makes it unique and interesting.
Right. That's the idea. Okay.
So yeah, this is the first time for that, and this will be, as far as I'm aware, this is going to be the last show in the Heisei era, which is just kind of weird to think about because it's been Heisei for so long.
It's true.
We've had to break up Heisei into like Heisei and Neo Heisei and all that kind of stuff. But the political eras in which, if you're unaware, listener at home, the political eras in which tokusatsu is aired or filmed is usually how we break it up. We have Showa era and Millennium and Heisei, and certain little minor breakdowns depending on the fandom. But it's been Heisei for a real long time. But with the next changeover, it's going to be a new era. So that's kind of wild to think about.
I wonder what how that will dictate the show's style from here on out. Because I feel like, this is a really bold change. From what I understand, last season was a really big change too, to have like such a massive team from the start. Yeah,
Kyuranger had a big team right out of the gate. It's not the first time the team has gotten to that size, but it was a very large team. So I'm excited to see, even though I've only seen 2 complete Sentai series, I'm excited to see variations in the form. That's the fun. I think a comment that I've heard from people that are not, tokusatsu fans, they're, how do you enjoy the same thing over and over again? And I think part of the fun of a formula is tweaking it, and like which parts you tweak. Like, this year we're playing with this knob here and this dial over here. Okay, next time we're going to shift these 2 around, or this time we're going to flip it this way. Like, it's it is the same thing, but you're constantly kind of remixing and redoing, and that's the fun. So I'm really excited about this.
Yeah. All right. Shall we?
Yeah, let's get into it.
この番組は楽しい時を作るグループ PRT とザ・コミックフィンドとご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
All right. That was freaking amazing. That was fantastic. That was really cool.
Really good. Really good
my
first
gosh.
episode.
Strong first episode. Yes. Okay. So I guess we'll do like a quick summary of it, like what we saw, right?
Yeah, do a quick summary, just kind of talk about synopsis so that everybody knows what we're talking about before we go in.
Yes. Okay. So it opened with basically Lupin Rangers breaking in on a casino that's like a dirty casino. We got a dude that's definitely cheating the patrons of the casino, and then as the Lupin Rangers jump in, they jump in through the glass. Amazing shot.
Mm-hmm.
And Lupin Red tosses a card that slaps the dude in the face so hard he pops out. It turns out he's like a frog monster on the inside. There's a frog, did you say?
Yeah, like a frog monster, frog gambler guy.
Frog cheater. Frog, nasty frog guy. Fight ensues, super flashy, looks fantastic. They do like a quick transformation, like off camera, and then they just start how did you describe it? Like, how would you describe that? Freaking guns blazing.
The action sequence or their entrance thing exactly?
Yeah. Just guns blazing, just going nuts, like sort of knocking out everything.
It feels sort of kind of John Woo, just sort of bullet ballet, jumping around. Lots of environmental damage and stuff. Lots of gun tricks and things like that. Really, really kinetic and really exciting.
Agreed. So they kick some butt. They kill the frog dude. Nothing else going on. He doesn't stick around, I think. They'll bring back that one. Probably. But then the cops show up at the last second, right as they duck out on their tiny plane that becomes a giant plane that they don't ride in, but they hang off of to make it look even flashier, right?
Of course. Yeah. That's more style that way.
So then we get to see a little bit of what the Reds are like outside of the costume. Lupin Red, of course, is a bit more playful. Pato Red, or Pat number 1, whatever. We don't have nicknames for him yet. I don't remember their names. But he's just a super serious cop guy. He's just, I'm so mad. Why are the Phantom Thieves doing better than us? Why are they so cool? We had that great little scene with them sort of interacting, but not knowing each other, right? Then we get some shots of the cafe where I guess they all work, but it's just like a...
Yeah, the 3 Lupin Rangers work at a cafe, and there's no other owner or anyone that we see. I mean, we get a quick interlude where we realize that where Kairi's in the park, he's Lupin Red meets Pat Ranger Red, and he's kind of mocks him about throwing something in the garbage. But then his butler picks him up and tells him a bit about the Lupin collection, which is these like mystical items that he can put into a book, and they're trying to collect them all. There's a legacy element there, but then we have the store that I it's sort of implied that I guess it's clearly a front, but whether there's like a manager or something like that, we don't really see. It
we get to see a little bit of
the
the police HQ. They have their Commander Hilltop giving them assignments. Kind of cute robot thing that's there, and then it's kind of cute, and then it's kind of horrifying a little bit for me anyway.
The uncanny valley.
Like I was like, oh, it's kind of cute. Look at this robot friend, and then just like, okay, put it back, put the arms back. I know you're suffering, poor costume person, but I didn't. I'm uncomfortable. Oh, we got that great scene with like the dawn of monsters, the mafioso of the monsters, of the kaiju.
Yes. What's his name? Yobin. He sort of, there's a bunch of kaijin sitting around a long table with like candlelit dinner, and they're all feasting. Yeah, really great introduction to those characters. And then he comes in, and there's a kiss the ring moment, and he sits down and is like, we're gonna get those fiends, get these thieves and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Real great little setup.
Happy birthday to Yobun! Like,
right, his 999th
birthday party. Yeah. Not the greatest birthday thing I've seen in Toku, but
I mean,
bad.
if you don't have
it's hard to talk.
The guy from O's going "Happy birthday!" Like, I mean, can it really be a birthday?
No, nothing can beat that. So yeah, we got a little bit of that, and then they got their next assignment, which was to look for the next Lupin item, which is it was a lighter. And I was excited because the thing that ended up having it was the thing I first saw in that great scene, like the shark fish looking dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it's important to note that the Kaijin they all have some variation of like a safe in their chest or in their shoulder or side or something, and in that is where they keep these Lupin collection pieces.
And that kind of powers them or like influences how they attack or their style a little bit, I imagine.
Right, and it's not clear. I couldn't tell if it was like they acquire more wealth and that makes it more powerful. There's not really, I don't know if we really got that.
Right.
But that seemed to be implied because they were talking about getting all this treasure, and we got lots of shots of them sort of oogling like pearl necklaces and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's right. But yeah, so I missed its name if he said it, but the shark dude had a lighter thing, and then so he was using fire attacks when they were fighting later on. But so he has he steals a bunch of jewels, and he's hanging out in his own little hideout. Lupin Rangers show up, they crawl through a vent, but they get caught, and then that turns into like a bit of combat without the suits or pre-transformation combat.
Mm-hmm.
They do this thing where they kind of all understand, like, hey, if anybody gets left behind, that's just how it is, right?
Right.
How would you put it?
We all knew the job, and we signed up, and it's sort of not really an honor amongst thieves type thing, but there's this sense of like, look,
a pact.
As long as one of us makes it, the dream carries on. So he's sort of Lupin Red, even though Blue and Yellow are held hostage by the Fire Shark guy. He like shoots out the ceiling, and all the cement and rebar and everything is like collapsing on them. And the monster sort of pops up and is like, but you crushed your friends. But then, shocking twist, they show up again because they had actually shot through the floor in a little circular machine gun pattern and escaped. So
yeah, that's a great way to. That's just they're like, yeah, and then they all just go like, yeah, we know he wasn't really going to try to protect us because that's just that's how it is. That's how we operate. That's how we roll, right?
right.
But then we get the so sweet Lupin Ranger transformation sequence, and man, I've seen a bunch of transformation sequences. Like, even if I don't watch the shows, I've seen them, and this is probably one of the best ones I've seen. Like, first, just so strong, so flashy.
Really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, like, it accented all of, like, the little things. Like, I never noticed, like, I think people noticed the top hat as part of the mask, and that's already dope.
Yeah.
But then, like, a little bit of the ribbon. I didn't notice the ribbon at the top, like, right under the neck, like the little bow tie that's part of it, and it just folds into the suit real nice, like...
Yeah, really, really nice.
Oh my goodness. What do we get? We got like wanted posters. We got like a rooftop shot. Like just poured
the spotlights
all
against
the
black
flash
wall or the brick wall and all that.
Like into Lupin Ranger, and it's like maybe this is maybe it's like I don't know what do you got like on that?
No, I loved it. Every bit of it. That was a really, really strong transformation sequence, and we'll talk, I guess, a little bit more when we juxtapose. But
yes,
no, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. So then we got our favorite kind of transition, which is the cut into them busting outside through a bunch of empty boxes. Really, really slick camera work on just the three of them beating the crap out of Shark Dragon dude, and I feel like you said something specific about that. That was really.
Oh, just really kinetic, and we'll talk about it more, but that was a really, really well done and just very different fight scene.
Yeah.
For Sentai, Sentai does a lot of interesting things to keep the action exciting, but very different punchmans than what we're used to seeing.
Yes.
And then in the middle of that, that's when Patch Ranger shows up.
That goes into like just more butt kicking. I think they beat him. No, they're in the middle of beating him. like going in for like a finale kind of attack, and then I forgot to mention this, but the commander over Police HQ brings out some new toys for the Pat Rangers, and then they just kind of they get the alarm that something's going on from the horrifying robot, make it to the scene right at the end, interrupt them, and then we actually get to see their transformation sequence, which by like just like you can't like I would have, I don't know. So yeah, they see their transformation sequence, and then that's just about where the episode cuts, right?
Right. Yeah, and then the implication being they're about to battle.
Oh yes.
And then we get the preview, the fade, and we get the preview for the next episode, which looks like there will be more battling and so on, and vehicles and stuff will show up. But
yeah, some weird stuff too. Like I don't want to say it, but like stuff I wasn't prepared for.
So what'd you think coming out of that first episode?
Dude, I'm so pumped right now. Like, I feel like this is going to be like one of the coolest things I'm going to see this year. And I've seen some cool stuff already. Like,
yeah,
like, good vibes. I'm interested in seeing where this goes. I feel like I want a little bit more of the Pat Ranger to get what's going on, you know? But I think I heard something about this being like kind of, okay, one episode will focus on this team and the next one will focus on the other team, and they'll do maybe a back and forth. So this is definitely the Lupin Ranger episode.
Yeah,
which
definitely.
I think was the right
think so
choice.
too.
Yeah. But how about you? How you feeling?
I loved it. Super positive, really energetic and exciting. I mean, obviously they had to sort of split time a little bit, and they focused obviously more on the Lupin Ranger, but we establish a lot of characters, a lot of at least three major locales. We get lots of interesting character designs, lots of cool ideas, really, really exciting action sequences. But it's not, I mean, other than it's not difficult to know who's who, it might be a little difficult to pick up on people's names just because we have so many characters popping around, and we don't quite, like, I had to look up who Lupin Blue was, but I managed to write down the other ones, but most of the characters only get mentioned once or twice, so it's a little hard to follow names at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I typically go with like the colors anyway. Well,
yeah, it's
now
easier.
code and color.
Yeah, so but overall, I mean, I think the show's set up the drama quite well. I'm really excited to see where this goes. Good strong opening, and if we can sort of wrap up in a 2 or a 3-parter to really establish the core conflict, I think we're in for a real good ride.
Yeah, I would almost say, like, I know they had to do it in this one, but I wouldn't mind if they redid their transformation sequence for the Pat Ranger in the opening of the next episode. Because just by comparison, man, like, it was like, we're like, oh, cool. Oh, I didn't know they were going to do it. And then it just, like, by comparison, like, it was still fine.
I mean, sure. I suppose I kind of liked their transformation as like, if Pat Ranger's transformation was the only transformation for the season, I'd be upset.
Oh, yeah.
But
that's true. Yeah.
I sort of like the juxtaposition because with the Lupin Rangers, we saw each one of them get each individual piece, the minutia of like the different top hat designs on their faces.
Yeah.
They got multiple opportunities to pose and announce themselves and do all this, and it was very long and drawn out. And then that makes sense for a sort of a gang of thieves who see themselves as individuals. Whereas with Pat Ranger, they're sort of like they're a police organization.
Yeah,
they're Interpol. Right. So for them just to be like, you see them all transform together. They salute and they just give their call sign. Like, I think that actually works really well.
1, 2, and 3. Like, they're not saying their
boom,
colors.
Boom.
And it makes sense. You're right. Dang it. Yeah, you're right. It makes sense that they would be in uniform, like literally and figuratively here, like to be in sync, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes. I like it. I like the juxtaposition of the two. I like the little subtle differences in the suit designs too. Like I like they have shoulder pads, for the Pat Rangers and stuff. But they're both using versus chargers, so it's they sort of are already aware that they have each other's power sets in a way. Like, we're of a similar breed, so we've established just with little things like that. We know what's coming. No, I really liked it. What was your
something's going to unify it? I think. What's that? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what do you think your favorite element of this episode was?
Ooh, that's tough. I'm going to go with the monster table. Because I think that having them all hanging out for a birthday party is probably one of the most fun ways to introduce the other bosses we're going to see for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
And also, I kind of just like seeing monsters hanging out. Like, they're all very serious business, and there's a lot of detail going on here. But
and it's very sort of classic mafia stuff where you have, the Don's favorite spot at the restaurant, that's my table, and they all sit there, and it's very it's very much in the vein of that kind of organized crime hideout gentleman's club type thing.
Yeah, there you go. It's a good way to put it. How about you? What are you feeling?
I think I have to give it to the incredibly flashy battle with the shark guy. Just the use of the multiple 360 pan arounds, and it looked like a little bit of GoPro work in there at some points, and some wild camera movements that we don't really see all that much in Sentai. Certainly not that much in one fight. But I mean, I guess you could complain a little bit at that's you're sort of we rag on people like say Michael Bay for rotating the camera around needlessly and all that sort of stuff. But funny,
they kept it really. I'm just like to not see the track on it, and I don't know what they did to get it, but like to have them do that 360 shot, and it didn't feel like somebody's running.
Right.
I'm sure they know what they're doing, but sometimes you get something like that, and it definitely feels a little bit shakier. But it was really smooth to have them.
Yeah, I want to say it looked like there was a little bit of speed up work, so maybe like they did the moves very slowly and then sped it up in post.
Okay, yeah,
maybe
I can see that.
But I really liked it. I mean, it turns out when you have primary colored characters on screen, it's really easy to follow the action because you can tell you can tell what they are as opposed to amorphous like gunmetal blobs. You can actually tell what's happening, so it works. Just that whole fight sequence was really, really fun to watch. I think the shot where the camera comes up and over the shark's back and then comes upside down so that the sort of viewer's head is resting on top of their three guns as they fire into his chest. That was nice. That was pretty fun.
Yeah,
that was pretty fun.
Yeah, that was just really exciting. Like I was jumping, man. Like seeing them pull those shots. Like I think when it went over, like one of the times when Yellow went over it, I might be getting it wrong. Like I was hit with it. It's just like the surprise, genuinely surprised that they would go for something like that. Like, oh
yeah, definitely.
Ooh, oh, okay, cool. Right.
So what was your least favorite element or something you'd like to see improved on or see more of next time?
I think I had a false start on that complaint, which would be to have moved the Pat Ranger's transformation. But I mean, thinking about it or having mentioned it, and then to go against your point, like no, I think you're right on that one. But I think, and maybe we're gonna get it, but more of the Pat Ranger really get what they're up to,
right?
Because right now, I don't like them as much, and I don't think you're supposed to. Maybe,
yeah,
they're kind of underdogs at this point, right? Besides that,
yeah.
Horrifying robot, I guess that too. Yeah. Ooh.
Oh yeah, yeah. When the arms fold out, it definitely loses something in the design a little bit for the accountant Jim Carter. That was the robot's name, Jim Carter.
Jim Carter. Okay.
Definitely lose something when when his arms unfold.
Mm-hmm.
I guess for myself, maybe it's a fear thing. I certainly hope we haven't front loaded all the fun choreography because we got a lot of really exciting stuff in in the opening scene when they're fighting with the gamblers. Yellow's like slamming her gun down on other people's guns, or they're like spinning it and firing on the edge of their finger, or like kicking over the bucket of darts and all the darts hit the goons. Really, really fun and exciting choreography, and I hope they haven't. And it's one of those things where it can be hard to be that creative consistently. Mm-hmm. So I hope they don't. I hope we continue to see that sort of like really interesting and unique sort of fight choreography. Like I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
So
I think the idea is
I hope we don't lose it.
Maybe cautiously optimistic about it. Like
yeah.
I mean, not to go too off track, but that's sort of been my concern this whole season for Kamen Rider so far is I don't know how they're going to keep this up, and yet they've been keeping it up. So hopefully that'll be the case for the Sentai side of things.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Maybe-
Because I'm not watching Build, so I have no idea.
Not yet, you aren't.
Yeah, not yet.
But who knows? Maybe you will.
Yeah.
Shoot. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on?
I want to throw out a couple special mentions. The Polderman, the goons,
yes.
the berets, and the sort of bullet impacts all across their armor. I love those designs.
Yeah.
And the sort of Halo Covenant Elite guns that they have. I really, really dig those designs quite a bit. Also want to give special mention to Commissioner Hilltop. It's just kind of nice to see, not only are they sort of playing with the trope of you have the sort of police chief or the commissioner that's a African American, but it's just kind of nice to see a person of color in the original Sentai.
Yeah. That is it's different.
He's speaking fluent Japanese. He's not, I mean, obviously I don't know enough Japanese to know how good his Japanese is, but he sounds like he's a fluent speaker. They're not doing the trope of like person speaks English and everyone just responds to them in Japanese. And he's just another character. There's really no mention made of it. I like that. I like that a lot. So shout out to that.
Yeah. I agree. That was pretty cool.
And hopefully we'll see.
Dang it. I feel like I had. Well, I think you touched on this already, but I think I really, really like that the transform guns that I'll learn the names of after this, but that VS Changer, VS Charger.
Yeah, the versus Charger or versus Changer.
Yeah, that thing. I love that they both have it. Like I think that's just a really cool way to unify it, and the fact that that both of them have hats as the part of the mask, like. It's just so good. It's so nice.
Oh,
like, what a cool
the little
what a cool way to sort of join them in terms of design.
No, the I also like that for the Lupin Rangers they had the safe dials on the top, and they would turn the combination, which of course is just a great. All the unlocking safe motif type thing, safe cracker type thing. But obviously, I think we're going to see different number combinations for different modes and things down the road. But that's great. I really enjoyed that extra element.
Yeah, that was nice. And then like the Power Rangers didn't even do that. They just pointed it up, right? Like it wasn't
right.
They just used it totally differently for it.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed that.
Versus up. I'd have to look at it again, but yeah.
Yeah, I think they fired him in. They like pulled him out, and then they fired him in the air, and that it fell over them, like their badges fell over them. I think.
Yeah. Right.
So. All right. So do we want to get to Twitter questions, or we have anything else to say?
No. Yeah. I'm ready. I'm down.
Okay. So Twitter questions. This one comes to us from our buddy Colton. Hey Colton. Hey buddy. How you doing?
What up?
He says, "Hey guys, looking to watch more Sentai in the future, so I was hoping you could direct me towards whatever Sentai series are legally available, either through streaming or home video. Thanks, and I can't wait to listen for the show." So,
this is your turf, I think.
Yeah, specifically, if you want to watch legal Sentai that is available, Shout Factory is pretty much your one-stop shop. They have physical DVDs for. They started at Zoo Ranger, which was obviously what the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was based on. They started there because they knew that's where the money was going to be. But have continued to do DVD releases for everything sequentially up through, I think we're about to get Go-Go 5, which is the Lightspeed Rescue Team, if I'm not mistaken. That's coming out real soon. Yeah, that's the next one that's coming out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 series so far, I believe, that are out. Yeah, 7. So they're up through what would be Lightspeed Rescue for Power Rangers fans there in terms of DVD release. Now, they also have a streaming service, Shout Factory TV, which is both. It's on their website. It's it's a slightly different. You just go to Shout Factory TV as opposed to Shout Factory, and they have it streaming. In terms of what they have streaming, they're always a little bit behind for streaming. I think they have added up through Mega Ranger, which would be in space.
That's a totally different thing too, right? Like it was video games.
Yeah.
Like
Mega Ranger is like complete. Like it was not in space, but in the American version, it was in space. So they've got 5. I guess if they're up through Mega Ranger, then they've got like 5 or 4. No, Z Ranger, Die Ranger. O-Ranger, then it would have been Car Ranger, and yeah, so this is the 5th they've uploaded onto their site, and you can watch that all for free. You don't even have to have an account.
Whoa!
If you watch it on their site, now I watched a little bit on their site, but I tried to mostly watch on my Roku. But if you watch on their site, last I checked, there are not even any ads. Like, you don't need an account. There's no ads. You just hop on and stream it. Now, it's always a little behind what the latest release is. I specifically tried to watch it as much as I could on my Roku. My wife and I have an older Roku, like one of the first or second gen ones. It was pretty affordable. And you can, if you have a Roku, you'll also have access to Shout Factory TV on there, last I checked. And on there, it's going to have advertisements, but I specifically tried to watch it on there because at the time, I couldn't afford to buy the physical releases. So I watched it on there so that there were commercials, so that they were hopefully getting some revenue for my streaming, because I kind of wanted to throw them something, right? We have to support this as much as we can. But currently, that's what we've got. And they seem to be releasing them at a pretty steady clip, because I think Zyuranger came out in 2015 maybe, so they're definitely doing more than one a year, so at some point they will catch up. So I think you can buy the Shout Factory plugin for Amazon Prime, like a subscription model, kind of like they did Amazon Strike a while back, which is like $3 or $4 a month extra. So if you want to do it that way too, I mean, obviously $3 or $4 additional fee is not great, but if you don't have a Roku, that's going to be less than $50 in a year, which is definitely less than buying, physical release sets, and you will have access to, hundreds of episodes at this point. So that's not nothing. There's a few options, but in terms of legally streaming Super Sentai is very, very hard to come by, but we are slowly getting there. And all I can say is I encourage people to, like, I just ordered Gingham Man, make sure that you're supporting these streams, watch it with the commercials if you can, show them that you support it, and hopefully we can get there,
Yeah, man. I'm really, really hoping that we get this is a far off dream, but I hope we get Crunchyroll same day streaming stuff for Toku. That would be so nice.
It really would. And I think it was if you just even said that a couple years ago, that would have been insane. But the fact that Ultraman has largely, been brought over, we're getting simulcasts and all that for every season that's coming out, and they have a Crunchyroll and I believe another group too. Maybe it's Hulu that has a few. I can't. No, Toku Channel. Toku Channel has some Ultra too. But Crunchyroll has a huge backlog of Ultra series.
Yeah.
So
I'm finally going to get through Nexus that way, I think.
Yeah, and then High Dive has Garo.
Yeah.
So
wait, they have any of the live Garo stuff?
Yes, live Garo. They have live Garo.
Whoa. Okay. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So that's not. We still don't have. Metal Heroes is nowhere to be seen. Nothing outside of Japan really. But obviously with Kamen Rider and Super Sentai, it's sort of the two big draws really, I think, for most people. With those still being out of commission, that kind of hurts. But I think Tokusatsu is slowly but surely gaining some ground, and hopefully we will begin to see this stuff legally available. And if we support it as much, you don't have to. If you don't have the money, you don't have the money. But if you can support it, please do, because we're starting to see it. I think the fact that the thing that's encouraging to me is that Shout Factory, after they released Zyuranger, they kept going. Because I think everybody knew
I'm glad.
Zyuranger was going to be the one with the biggest returns in terms of the short to medium term, at least. So the fact that they're continuing to release those and continuing to put them up for streaming bodes very well.
It's real nice, man. It's a dream come true.
Yeah, that's the dream.
Yeah. Toku at my fingertips, man.
Please, Lord. But I mean, you can go to Shout Factory TV right now on your phone and watch it. So I mean, it's not that far.
That was
off,
a great plug. I think it was a great plug for Shout Factory.
Hey,
did you get the copy? I didn't get the copy.
Hey, we got to support it, even if they're not paying us. We got to support it because they are doing the Lord's work.
Yep. Shout Factory, hook us up.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
Behalai Bebop asks, you should address what you think the best Sentai for newcomers are. Ooh, boy. Wow. Do you want to start with this one?
Well, I mean, Die Ranger has a special place in my heart. I know everybody says Zero Ranger is the way to go. I don't know what the actual opinion is on Gokaiger, but I thought it was a really cool way to kind of like what Decade did with Rider, where they kind of did a showcase of all the old stuff within the series. So kind of, I don't know if that's the right approach, but you get to see things and you're like, oh, I want to know more about that. Maybe that's a good way to start. Right? Maybe I'm a bad person here, but I mean,
no, I think fan, I've seen enough of Gokaiger to know that I need to finish it. And I think most of the community, from what I understand, is pretty positive on it. It's the Super Megaforce and the Megaforce stuff that the adaptation of it that is generally reviled.
Okay.
Like, most people can't stand it.
That's what it is.
But Gokaiger itself seems to be pretty well received. So,
okay.
I guess in terms of my own recommendation for newcomers, I mean, I hate to give the generic answer, but if you watched Power Rangers as a kid and you have even slightly fond memories of it, try to watch that first, whatever the equivalent season is for the adaptation, just because you're going to have some familiarity with the powers, and if you have any memories of it, then you can kind of compare and contrast and see, okay, no, this is really different. The adaptation does change a lot of things, probably usually for the worse, but sometimes for the better in some rare instances.
Yeah, good luck with In Space. That's like a totally different show entirely.
But In Space is, I mean, it's a pretty good season. I can't hate on In Space, and a lot of people like it a lot. A lot of people will go to bat for In Space.
I just always wondered why they had the little email icon on their belts. I was like, why is this here if it's about space? Like, I just didn't get it at the time. But
you get space mail.
All right.
I guess other than that, I guess the next most generic response is thumb through some images, mouse wheel past a couple of Sentai team images and see what suit looks really cool to you and go with that.
Yeah. You got to stand looking at the suit for, 40-ish, 45 plus episodes. So you better like it.
Yeah, you got to like how they look. I mean, half the fun is going, oh, cool. Like that's, that's it. Or third tier answer, I guess, would be to find what your friends are watching and try to watch with them with that, because I find being plugged into a community infinitely multiplies my enjoyment of something.
Yeah. So then Lupin Ranger versus Powder Ranger. Go with that one, because we're doing it now.
That's the excitement. And you can see, especially, you can keep up with the conversation and say like, oh, people are liking this, not liking this. They say this is rehashed or this is new. Like, you can kind of start to get a feel for what the community feels about something.
Yep.
Okay, good buddy 120 asks us, what's your favorite Sentai? Oh, that's a big question, isn't it? Oh, geez.
That's a hard one. I asked you and you were like, oh no, this is going to be another, this is a challenge.
Well, I think you already revealed yours a little bit. You already showed your power level of a tad.
Yep. So I'm going to say Die Ranger, just because I said it first. Got ahead of you.
I think a lot of, Die Ranger, I hate to pick one that I haven't completed as my favorite. And again, I've only completed Zero Ranger and Die Ranger, so, but I really, really like them both. It's, as much as I would like on the one hand, I love Die Ranger, and I think in a lot of ways it's a better show. Zero Ranger just works for me so well. Something about like deific robot dinosaurs, hanging out in the clouds, talking to reborn warriors that are fighting a clown that shoots a soccer ball that explodes into glitter. Something about that just works for me, and and it could just be my my fondness for my memories of MMPR. Not actually MMPR, but my memories of it, and sort of the fact that Zero Ranger it's just a little silly. It doesn't really ever. It gets kind of serious because it's hard not to call it serious when they fight literally Satan. But it's I don't know. Yeah, it's a really fun series, and I think some of the little dynamics, the fact that Gryffazor and she's not Scorpina, but Goldar and Scorpina from MMPR, they're married in the show, and husband and wife monster team. That just works for me. That's really, really fun. So stuff like that. I really like Zero Ranger, and I can't not like it. So a brief, tiny, minuscule, by a hair finish. It's going to Zoo Ranger, I think. But that may change. Who knows?
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Okay, up next, Good Buddy Doctor. He says that I guess an obvious question is, would you guys eventually look into venturing out of Sentai every once in a while? Well, what you think, bud? What do you think, Pat?
I want to. Well, I think the way to go with this would be to see where we go, how we can handle this first, and see what that looks that's like in terms of production.
Yeah.
I'd love to watch more and more because I really just enjoy it overall. Like, and I feel like I need to say this, but there's sort of I have to preface this as a kind of like an ironic watch sometimes before in the past, but I actually really do enjoy this, and so to get more of it and to be able to think about it more, on a critical level, I think is going to be great. So to extend that past Sentai, I think I'd like to do that. I don't know about right away. But yeah. Definitely, and then maybe, Rider's already up in my life, but to look into smaller things that I hear is really good. Like I want to check out like Gavan, is it Galvan? Space Chef Gavan.
Yeah, Space Chef Gavan. Yeah.
More of what is it called? More Metal Hero shows.
I have to watch.
Hokkaido looks dope.
I have been basically threatened multiple times that if I start a Metal Hero show that isn't Jan person, people will come after me. So I think if we do Metal Heroes, it'll have to be Jan person first.
Okay, that's fine. Well, there we go. We already have a roadmap for it.
At least for me.
Yeah. Well,
my life is at stake.
Yeah, I'll support this if that's what it takes to keep you on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it would be a lot of fun to expand out into other tokusatsu and things like that. I think right now we'll be doing one a week of this, so that's a pretty steady schedule as is. Maybe we could, I have pie in the sky ideas. Maybe every, once a month we do a clutch of episodes from an older show.
Ooh,
or, like a guest discussion every now and then where we have, 2 or 3 guests on and talk about a show we've all seen, and we don't have to do like a weekly type thing. We can play with the format, and we already have pie in the sky dreams of having guests on and things.
Yeah.
But, I think it can be bigger than that, but I think for a while it's still only episode 1. I don't know if there's a formula to break yet.
No, there's nothing. Yeah. We're still exploring here, but definitely.
Yeah,
so the
definitely.
Bottom line is yes, we're interested.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a hard no, but definitely not yet.
Yeah. But I think that was all the questions. Thanks so much to everybody for asking and replying and everything. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Pat, do you have anything else before we sign out?
I don't have anything. This is great.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I'm excited.
I can tell.
Well, all right. Well, this was Grant.
And this is Pat. Yep.
We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for tuning in to the Super Senpai podcast. Next week, we'll be taking on episode 2 of Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger.
Super Senpai Podcast.